are, God has himself spoken. So he is inside all these scriptures also. As he is spoken there, wherever it is read, he is there only. In his presence only, we are showing all our gratitude, all our respects, obedience to Radha Govinda temple, Mangalore ISKCON temple, which has given this opportunity for us to interact and get into this beautiful journey. Every day how much ever we show the gratitude, it is not sufficient, but we have to express that every day, every minute. And we move on to what we did yesterday was in chapter 7. Today we'll be doing chapter 8, but chapter 7 had, that is where with the bhakti started, and how do we try to understand Krishna. So he himself speaks about his own glories, and we try to understand that Kaschit Mam Vedi Tatvata. So glories of knowledge about Krishna was learned. Knowledge of Lord Krishna energies, he's in the personal form, is Prakriti Vidhime Param, surrendering unto Lord Krishna. So, total surrender. How do we do that? Then demigod worship and impersonalism. Demigod worship, it is not said it is wrong. It gives immediate results. So that also Krishna only has been, giving. So all of them have been assigned certain prescribed work and duties, and they're all working on that, and they get the energy also from Krishna. It is all his external potencies, external energy, from delusion to devotion. All this was covered yesterday. And today we go into Akshara Brahma Yoga. Aksharam itself is Pranamam here. Brahma Yoga, that is attaining the Supreme. That is what is in chapter 8. So as I told you, like almost 1/4 is done, but then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you'll find in between that cream. That cream, how do I attain? Who all have done? What do I do? How do I'm a conditioned soul, but then how do I get the liberation? So this becoming liberated is what is our goal. So in that, what do I do? Do I renounce? Do I just sit, or do just Ashtanga yoga and get the samadhi? Or if I'm acting, then how do I act? So, your 5th chapter talked about Krishna, do the karmas attaining in Krishna consciousness. So that's what slowly it is progressing. So Krishna consciousness, how do I do that? How do I totally surrender? How do I do all my activities keeping Krishna in the center? So the first shloka itself, it is a very clear indication. He's asking those questions. Arjuna vacha kim tad brahma kim adhyatmam kim karma purushottama adhibhutam cha kim proktam adidhaivam kimuchyate. So adhibhutam, adhibrahma. So all these questions is asking. Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are the fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain this to me. So all these questions on our behalf, Arjuna is wanting to get the explanation from Krishna. So how beautiful, how wonderful, Krishna is going to answer and Arjuna is asking on our behalf. So as if, we have all these. So Adibhutam, then Adi Yajna Katam Putra Dehesmin Madhusudana Prayana Kale cha Katham Nyeyosi Niyatatmabhi. This is 8.2. So in these 2 shlokas, he's asked all these questions. How does this Lord of Sacrifice live in the body? That is Adi Yajna, and in which part does he live? Oh, Madhusudana. Madhusudana here itself is like removing the ignorance, that, the darkness from our mind, because he killed the demon Madhu. And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? This is a very, very important, question. At that time, Kapavata Pittam, all the dosha. So how do I remember? Because what we remember at the time of death is what we are going to achieve. That is where we are going to go. So is it really, am I, let me understand, what do I do that? So in 7.29, what is Brahman was clearly explained by Krishna. So Jara Marano Mokshaya Mamashritya Yatantiye Te Brahma Tat Viduho Krutsanam Adhyatmamam Karmam Chakilam. Okay, 7.29 in the 7th chapter itself, he told, intelligent persons who are enduring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. At that time, we cannot do. So we have to start doing it right from the beginning. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. So in the 7th chapter end itself, he has explained about Brahman. And so, Sadhi Bhutadhi Daivam, Mam Sadhi Yajnam Cha Ye Viduhu. So, Prayana Kale Picha Mam Te Vidur Yukta Chetasaha. So, those in full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestations of the demigods and all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. So, there itself, he has said a lot of questions which Arjuna is asking in chapter 8 from 7.29, that is the end of 7th chapter itself. He has started answering. These are the queries which is going to come up. So the 8 questions that is what is being asked will be dealt with in detail in the 8th chapter. What are the questions? Brahman. So Brahman, what is it? We will go in detail and further, but then here it is just a glimpse of, to remove the doubts. What is Brahman? It's a spirit. Jiva, indestructible living entities. Then what is Adhyatma? The nature of Jiva, that is the controller of the body. Karma, all our work, all our actions leading to the material body. It is all with those fruitive activities. Then Adhibhuta, Bhuta itself is all the material nature, material manifestation. Adhidhaiva, Daiva is supreme demigod, universal form which includes all the demigods. Adhidhaiva, that is also within us. Adi Yajna is within us. The enjoyer of the sacrifice is Paramatma. So he is as an Antaryami, he is there. Then where does Adi Yajna reside? That is the next one. In the heart of all. In the heart of all is as Antaryami. He is inside all of us. How to remember Krishna at the time of death? This is a very, very pertinent question. So it's all practice. From the beginning, when you practice, at that time it will not come. So, all those diseases in old age is going to take over, and, what sort of activity will be done, we do not know. Dementia or Alzheimer's, then we don't know whether we are really going to be. So these 8 questions are answered in this particular chapter. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Svabhavo Adhyatma Muchyate Bhuta Bhavatva Karo Visarga Karma Sanyitaha. The Supreme Lord said, the indestructible, transcendental, living entity is called Brahman. So indestructible, then that is Brahman. And his eternal nature is called the self. Action pertaining to the development of these material bodies is called karma. So the actions which is being done by these material bodies are karma and are fruitive activities. How do we do the karma is up to us. But then whether it is in Krishna consciousness or, desiring something, that is the free will that is being given to us. So we have 4 defects. The human beings have got 4 defects. Birth, then of course, growing up, old age, disease, and death. You see this. Okay, those who are there, you see on the top, the first one, doing all the austerities, worshipping, then they get the body, they go into, you see on the right, like Vaikunta, Goloka Dham, and that is the mode of goodness. Then next comes, they do the austerities, everything is fine in the mode of passion. then they go into Swargaloka. That is, little lesser than that. And, those who are into this, the third one you're seeing, it is all the mode of passion as well as mode of ignorance. How much this image itself is a very clear cut, we can understand that. And they're born, they go to this world. The lust and greed, and so this image, what you see is the animal kingdom. They are born in the animal kingdom. So the choice is ours. Physical nature is known to be endlessly mutable. The universe is the cosmic form of the Supreme Lord. Always the changes happens. There are a lot of videos on how caterpillar becomes a butterfly. And I am that Lord represented as a super soul, dwelling in the heart of every embodied being. Every embodied being is there in the as a super soul, as a Supreme Lord. He is there inside, he is there outside, watching us as a spectator. But all those actions that we are doing as our karma, so we reap the fruit as per our karma. Okay, so Antakale cha mameva smaran mukta kalevaram yak prayati sa madbhavam yati nasyatra sanchayaha. Without any doubt, at the time of death. So whoever at the time of death quits his body, remembering me alone at once attains my nature. Of this, there is no doubt. So here you see whose picture is this on the screen? Anybody? Who is this? Is Bhishma Pitama. So he is on the arrow bed. Imagine he himself, Krishna himself, is standing in front of him. We don't. So Bhishma was he was a great sage. He had been always in the remembering Krishna. He knew that he is Lord. He knew he is the Paramatma. So he was the one who was always remembering. In fact, whenever Krishna used to sit and do the meditation, so Yudhishthira used to ask, it seems, we are all meditating on you. We are all meditating on Paramatma. Whom are you thinking? No, Bhishma is now, doing all his austerities. So from Manasa Vacha, when he is not able to do it as a form of activity with the actions of the hands, and so what he does through the mind. So that practice also needs to be done. So you sit in trance, you sit in meditating posture, and then you keep doing the aradhana, archana, nama japam, everything through your mind. So that what happens, your memories are, stand still there. So as memories always come up, you are doing archana. It is all in your, so that is what it seems. From Manasa, he used to do all these aradhana, and he was always remembering. So when he was leaving the body, naturally, Krishna is there himself standing in front of him. If anybody know this picture, all Pandavas, and this image clearly says, this is from Mahabharata again, in the Yaksha Prajna. So what happens, all these, Dharmatma, when he comes, they go and fetch the water. When the Pandavas, one by one, they go and they don't return back, Yudhishthira gets really upset. So he goes in search, and then he sees. So it is Yamadharma Raja only he is asking, Yakshan, as a Yakshan. So Anai Ani Bhutani Gachanti Yamalayam Seshasastavaram Yichanti Kim Ascharyam Ataparam. So he's asking a question, you answer all my questions and I will make your brothers to get alive. So what is the Ascharyam? What is the, the surprising thing? So Yudhishthira says, hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment. Every moment, someone or other, dogs, cats, caterpillars, or, any animal, any insect, any living entity, living bodies, human beings, they all meet death at every moment. But a foolish living being, nonetheless, thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. This is the most wonderful thing in this world. We all know any second, any minute, but we think it is all imperishable, it is all permanent, and we work like the donkeys, as we had seen yesterday in all those images. thinking that, oh, but only the handful of grass is going to be given, but still will work and work and work and work with all those desires for the fruitive actions is all going on without connecting. See, you keep working, you do a lot of, you do earn, do a lot of hard work, but that linking with the super soul, linking, having that ultimate aim, thinking Krishna in the center, and he is doing everything. I am not a doer without any false ego. So that sort of a practice has to be undertaken by all of us. So anybody wants to read the shloka? I'm reading it. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tame vaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhaktihi. So this first day itself, I told the story, but we will again repeat. That is why Bharata Kante, Bharata, it is Bharata Maharaja. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. And Bharata Maharaja, there is no doubt he just left, at the age of 50 with all the palace, his wife, his parents, all the wealth, all the people, everybody was in tears because he was such a great Maharaja. And our country's name also is because of him. Such a Maharaja, but then, slowly, three births he remembers, and I have explained this in detail in first or second or third chapter, I don't remember that. But Bharata Maharaja, how he got diverted. So when he has done all the austerities, he has been following all the stages, and he's in the Prema Bhakti Bhava Bhakti, and is coming to that stage we will see. But that is the time when a hunter is behind a deer, and then the mother deer in all that distress delivers the baby deer, which falls into Bharat sage's hand, and he starts totally focusing on this small deer. So this smaller one, wherever he goes and he goes. So finally he sees, and one day naturally deer wants in search, and as he is growing, so he is gone into the jungle. So now Bharata Maharaj, he goes in search of this deer, the smaller deer, and he finds. So he himself falls sick, and he falls, and then thinking of the deer, he becomes a deer. That is the second. But the deer, because of all those things he has been doing, he has attained that stage. He has left such a wealth, and he came. He has been doing all this tapas and yajna and austerities in the jungle. He remembered his previous birth. So what happened was, Krishna tried to be with him in that, and he was in the jungle itself. Then when he left that body, he again attained human being. It is not possible when one attains the animal kingdom to come out, get elevated, unless and until it is Krishna's will, unless and until it is your karma. So his karma was such that he was already in this stage. Shraddha, he had the faith. Okay, Sadhu Sangha, he had that association, performance. So 9 stages of Bhakti Yoga, we have already seen the process also. But where was he? It is Bharata Maharaja, almost in Bhava. He had that love. But the way we play the snake and ladder, you all know, 99.99 you have come, and there the one, instead of ladder, there is one snake, and you fall down. So unfortunately, that is what that little diversion made him to come down to the level of taking a birth as a deer. But then Jada Bharata, that story also I told you. So he was a Jnani, and for 14 years, he didn't speak at all. Then when he spoke to the king about not hurting when he was holding the palanquin. So it is not a difficult thing, but then one has to be in the steadfast, steady mind. So Sadhu Sangha, but if Bharat Maharaja had one guru, one best friend to divert, don't smoke, don't drink. That is not going to be very helpful. Come on, don't go behind these girls and these boys. Somebody who has diverted. We need not have an acharya or guru, but one best friend. So Bharata Maharaja also, if he had somebody, okay, you had been doing so much. So for him, some sage, some guru could have been a guide to tell him, somebody who could have suggested. Anyhow, so he had the nishtha, he was steadfast. Then he had the ruchi for Krishna, asakti. He left everything but attachment to Krishna. So he had the love also. But the last one, somewhere, that got. And he's the best person to remember, uh, uh, to be doing all this. Okay, hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the Lord's lotus feet, deity worship, praying, executing order, that is the asyam. Serving as a friend, complete surrender. These are all the processes of bhakti. So with that Bharata story, what we understand is at the last minute, if you are remembering, whatever your aspirations in this material world, whatever the ichha, which is not the desires that is not fulfilled, if we keep remembering, if we keep cultivating those sort of, images in our mind, and those desires and which is not fulfilled, and this is what to be done, then what happens is that is again the body with all those memories is born in that family where those desires could be fulfilled maybe. But if you are remembering only Krishna, 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 best example is Prahlad Maharaj, always under test, always under the trauma. But imagine the way he had the determination. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha madhya arpita manobuddhir mamai vashyasya samshayaha. Without any doubt, he is going to come to me only. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time, carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. So I'm sure you all know about Prahlad Maharaja, how much Hiranyakashipu tried to be behind him. And but Narada's all those stories when he was in Peters, he made the surrounding also in such a way that all that Balagopala, they were in the with the guru, in the school, in his Gurukula, he made everybody to chant and sing, and he said, no, he's the only one. It's only Narayana, it is only Mahavishnu, it is only him who is there all around everywhere. So all this, Prahlad Maharaja's Tuti. But when Hiranyakashipu came, and when Lord Narasimha came, and he was waiting, it seems, he said, oh, when is my bhakta is going to ask and where I should come? So he remembered, there is a story. Why did he take a Narasimha Avatara and not anyone else? Why did he become the Simha? And so he said, it seems, Hiranyakashipu told Prahlada one day, he was always abusing. He was ready to, he was trying to kill him every day and every, but Prahlad Maharaja never had any fear. So when he said, I am going to kill as if as a lion kills or breaks the elephant's head. So that means then Lord himself thought, okay, so lion is killing the elephant. Like that, I'm going to kill you and drink all your blood. That if Lord doesn't come the way you say. So this was an indication for him, it seems, Narasimha. And a lot of stories behind, and please read the stories, you will really enjoy. And such a small boy made the whole environment in such a way that it is everybody has started only remembering and chanting his names, in spite of the king being so against. What does that mean? When you are in lot of mud, in calamities, even then you can get elevated, you can raise up, you can come to an expectation and desire that I need to be with Krishna. I need to be having that super soul with me. He is there already inside. So that connection, that devotional service, that determination, that faith leads you to that. It's not, it cannot be done. It's a very highly elevated soul which will have that prema bhakti immediately, at the first moment itself. So we all need to strive for that. We all need to look for an acharya, for a guru who, regulates us. So we are very fortunate that we are into this, and in this process, slowly and gradually, we can get elevated. How do we get elevated? Just the devotional service. So Arjuna, you should always think of me. Krishna himself is saying that, keep doing your prescribed duty, which is now fighting. 8.8. So Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanya gamina paramam purusham divyam yati partha anuchitayan. So he who meditates on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path. O Partha is sure to reach me. It's the surety, it's the guarantee that Krishna is giving. That this is a story which is again, Ajamila, the story of sinner turning. Such a great Brahmana, and married, very good, beautiful wife, doing all the austerities, is a priest. And then he had a lot of faith, and every day doing all the yajna, tapasa, highly elevated. So unfortunately, that one mistake, he sees when he goes and collects the firewood in the forest, he sees a prostitute having the seducement, that seducing, that's what, we didn't have the control on all his senses. So everything is fine at home, but then he sees her and then he falls for her. That's a lust. It's not love. Okay. A lot of people don't have the differentiation of liking and loving, or immediately I want to marry her, or that is it the girl who will say, no, he's such a handsome boy. So it is only it's just a lust. It's just, I have to touch. So Ajamilan, what happens? He goes and he says, no, he tells the parents and says, you have such a beautiful wife, nobody will accept. But then he tells the prostitute, I will give enough money. You come and be with me in the as a maid servant. So she doesn't mind. She just needs that money. So whether it is, so she, so slowly and gradually the parents leave the home. The wife also leaves. Ultimately, he has 10 children from this prostitute, and the 10th one, he keeps the name as Narayan. Around the age of 75, 76, he keeps calling Narayana, 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 always chanting, because always the youngest one is a very dear one. So when he keeps chanting, he sees he's almost diseased and old age, everything is stuck him. But he sees Vishnu Duta and Yamaduta, both of them. Usually, the sinner will have the Yamadutas to take him to the Yama, because Chitragupta has been writing all this, the writing is going on for all of the calculations, what we did, how we did, that it is thought, action, feeling, anything, who is hurting whom, all our karmas are all written. It is all, the diary writing is going on at this moment also. So now Vishnu Dutta and Yamaduta, both of them came. He could see, because of his austerities and whatever he had been doing, he was such a great devotee, parents, beautiful wife, good house. He just fell. So what happened was, he could see both of them talking. They said, Vishnu Dutta said, no, he had been chanting only Narayana, Narayana. Then, of course, Yamaduta said, no, that's not the right thing, because he's a fallen soul and he's been doing all this. So Krishna's determination was that, he has been doing, let's give an opportunity. So let's give a chance. We all get a chance. Okay. We all get a chance to get elevated. So Ajamalan also got a chance of, then he left for Haridwar. After listening, he listened, he was hearing all this, he could hear because of his, the punyas that he had, the worship that he had been doing, the aradhana, the archana that he had been doing, the devotion that he had for the family, with Lord, in the center. So all that made Ajamilan to see this Vishnuduta and having the conversation with Yamaduta. So what he did, that he got a chance, he went to Haridwar, he did the penance, he did all that for almost till his death, he was doing all that penance. Okay, so you're seeing those images here also. How Krishna comes and stops the Yamaduta. Vishnudutas, all of them, they come and stop. He could visualize, he could see, he could hear them talk. And then after all that, he is taken back to um, uh, Krishna's abode. Ajamilan's story is in Srimad Bhagavatam. You can read it in detail. Kavim Purana Manushasitaram Anoraniyam Samanusmaredhya Sarvasya Dhataram Chittya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasak Parasthat. One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he is the oldest, who is a controller, who is smaller than the smallest, who is a maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. Always a person. Remember, there are a lot of people around who say that is only energy. God is only an energy. No. Do we have our father? Yes. Was he an energy? Do we have a grandfather? We have a grandfather. How did we all come as a person? Without being a person, one cannot. So when you have your grandfather, great-grandfather, they're all not the ball of fire or energy. They're all persons. So it is a person. So Krishna himself is a person. Such a beautiful painting. See, I mean, one can enjoy Krishna's presence when you really have that form, and he is with Shankha Chakra with the four hands. He is luminous like the sun, and being transcendental is beyond this material nature, is beyond material nature, is above all this, is the smallest, smaller than the smallest. But if you think he's very close to you, he is very closest. He's really closer. But if you think he's very far away, he's far away. So it's our own perception. Isha Upanishad talks about all this, how he is, all those contradictions in all those mantras, 18 mantras are there. That first Upanishad, the Ishavasya Upanishad, we will understand how Krishna is. All the deities. In fact, Bhumi Devi, she said it is too much. Dwapara Yuga, whether it is, Treta Yuga, every time Bhumi Devi goes and says, I am really now really scared of these demons. They have done enough. So then they go on, even Brahma, everybody goes and meditates, and Lord Vishnu takes and comes down. It just takes few seconds. It is only Sankalpa Matra. He comes down and makes sure that, the sadhuna, vinashaya dushkrutam, dharma samsthapanataya sambhavami yuga. So every yuga he comes down. So they also worship him only. That is what you're seeing. Shiva and Brahma, all of them are meditating on Lord Vishnu, on Krishna, saying that you come down. Narayana, Vishnu, Krishna, we take all those names. Everybody is the same. Okay. And this is a beautiful representation. When you are given the easiest way, Mam upetya punarjanma dukkale mashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gataha. So after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return this temporary world. We are all imprisoned, okay? Who is full of, which is full of miseries. This is dukkha, because they have attained the highest perfection. Can anybody relate this image with what we are talking? It's a prison, okay? Can anyone unmute and say that what could be this?
Ma'am, like he's trying to free himself by the difficult way, but when the easy way is available, he is not availing that opportunity.
Beautiful. Thank you, Prabhu. That's wonderful. So easy way in Kali Yuga is Nama Japa Manli, and keep doing the devotional service. Such a easy way is given. And he has been working hard, so hard, so hard. So the great souls who don't come to this temporary dukkhalayam. So it is, they think it is shashvatam, but it is not. So Shashwatam is which one? Everything that we have, it's not permanent. Okay, so that's a lovely explanation. Brahma Bhuvana Lokaha Punaravartino Arjuna Mamapeti Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death takes place. But one who attains my abode, he has started talking about his abode, Goloka, Vaikunta, there is no Kunta, there is no misery. O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. So above Vaikunta is Goloka. So you would still do the devotional services there. So you're seeing heaven at war, earth at war. Hell is just a pain. So again and again, we come back. Now 8.17 to 19 is again the Brahma Annihilation, and how does, like, his daytime, we are all there, his nighttime, it is all annihilation, and total annihilation. So by human calculations, all this we did in detail. 1,000 ages taken together is the duration of Brahma's one day, Divya Yuga, and such also is the duration of his night. So when Brahma's day is manifest, this multitude of living entities comes into being. And at the arrival of Brahma's night, they are all annihilated. So again and again, the day comes and the host of beings is active. That is, he is able to create everybody. That is his duty, Brahma's duty. And he also, once the Brahma also changes. Okay, it is just a post. Indra is a post. It is the prime minister is a post in the government, the system. So in that system, it's only Krishna who is permanent. And again, the night falls, then Partha, they all, everything, it's like Mahapralayam. Okay, so his daytime, we're all there, and his nighttime, the annihilation. We are all there for his, not in his daytime. I mean, it's like one day is more than 1 year. So when Brahma's calculations, if you see those calculations, I don't know if that Prabhu is there, that Sandhya I wrote, whether, why the difference in Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga, he asked. So, some researches had been done, and that Sandhi, that time period, everything is there in our Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Vedas, Puranas talk about all these calculations. Okay, so this is a clear indication where you will reach if you are remembering him and doing his services. Paras tasmat bhavon anya avyakto avyaktat sanatanaha yah saha sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. So there is another nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. This is not at all annihilated. Okay. Everything gets annihilated, but this is permanent. This is where the Nityasuris live. All of them, they are there. Goloka and Goloka Vrindavana, whatever is there in this Vrindavana here, you will see the same, and you can go in detail. Ashtasiddhi, all of this, Sanat Kumaras, and the Radharani, you will find everybody, this Bhuvarloka, Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, 7 lokas above, 7 here. So Bharatavarshe, Bharatakande, you are, when you read all this, you will get into the detail of how the Goloka is and who all lives there. So in this Goloka chart, I think Prajesh Prabhu had posted it, and we can still post once again in this, but then go in detail. You will enjoy who lives and how big one can attain. Okay, so what is this Mahatattva? And you will find all Krishna's pastimes there also. You will be a part of this enjoyment, whether whatever form you want, friend, mother, sister, brother, you enjoy with all these pastimes like Leela Vibhuti, you will find it there. You want to be like an Yashoda, you will have that. Krishna is going to be there the way you desire him to be, your friend, or you want to just, be his Dasyan, be his worshipping, or to be the mother, or to be. So the way you perceive him, that is the beauty. The way you desire him, he is there like that with you. So, so Sri Vaishnavas do talk about Mukundamala. Prabhupada was so much interested in this. So there is Mukundamala shloka here. Krishna Tvadiya Padapankaja Pancharanta Madhyaiva me Vishatu Manasa Rajahamsa Prana Prayana Samaye Kapavata Pittaihi Kantavarodhana Vidhau Smaranam Kutaste. It is Krishna, please allow my mind to immediately yield to your lotus flower like feet. Just as the flamingo enters into the labyrinth of lotus flower stems, when at the moment of my last breath, my throat becomes constricted by the action of the bodily humors, air, bile, phlegm, how will I be able to remember you? Prabhupada was so much, he really got influenced by this Kulashekara Alva. There are about 12 Alvas, one Alva. Kulashekara Alvas, all the shlokas talks about, please take me now, because at that time I will not remember you. I will not be able to really talk about you even. And how do I do it? There are only 40 shlokas, but then, it is everything in the mantra japa is also given. How do I really? Jihve kirtaya keshavam muraripum cheto bhaja sridharam ani dvandva samarcha yutakathaha shrotra. So what my ears have to do? Just listen to Krishna stories. What my tongue and the mouth has to do is kirti, is keshavam muraripu, keshavam skriti. So what my legs have to do? Just walk to the temple. Then what my hands have to do? Only the archana. So all this in Mukundamala. Mukundamala is a very small book, what you see, and the beautiful meaning. Every shloka has got. So the translation has been done by Prabhupada also. There is another book available. Just go to Veda base, anytime you want to read, you will be able to read online. It's all in the form of, it is all there in the, as a e-book. So you'll find it interesting. What do I do? How do I do when we are not having any direction to do the devotional service? Start like that. Read and understand that way. Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya palam pradishtam atyeti tat sarvamidam videtva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadhyam. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing austere sacrifices, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. At the end, he reaches the supreme abode. Basically, what is that? So we should be very, very clear about this. You read Veda, you do all the austerities, you go to the temple, we are not above. So doing all these sacrifices, that you are doing it for Krishna. So nothing should be stopped. Reading the scriptures, chanting, or doing archana, aradhana, japam, going to the temple, or doing the yajna, sacrifice, charity, everything can continue. But keeping everything as not for desiring anything, but all that because it is given in our scriptures, we keep doing it. And so when you keep doing that, what happens is Krishna knows where and how. So how do I, that param sthanam, upeti chadyam, 100% it is for sure that he will reach the supreme abode. That guarantee is also given. So nothing should be stopped because it's given there in our scriptures. We are supposed to be doing all those prescribed duties. Okay. So 8th chapter, 8 questions were asked. Okay. Kim Brahma. So he was like Adi Daivam, Adi Bhutam. What is it? So Adi Daivam is inside, and as an Antaryami, Adi Yajnan is supreme soul. Then Adi Bhutam is the material world around us. So all these were explained to him, remembering Krishna at the time of death. This is the very important message from this chapter 8. How do I remember? How do I remember? Whatever we remember, whatever desire we have, whatever. So when my grandmother was 101, okay, everybody does a century in my house. So, but they are all great, elevated souls. Still, what she did was at the end, she died only in 2019. So she went on telling Prima, you know what, that person cheated me, and he took the signature of all that land. Now I remember, uh, I didn't know it was all mango plantation, all these gardens, this, that. I went on telling her, it is all right, it is not yours, it is not permanent, you only read Bhagavad Gita, you only taught me all this, then why are you saying this? But she went on. And there is, like, Dharma Shastra says that if they remember all that, the life doesn't, we wanted that, she should have a smooth sailing. And we know, like, she's just going to go to no more birth. So we had to explain. And then I went on chanting Vishnu Sahasranamam, Bhagavad Gita, all that. So what I'm saying is that desire and that some sort of, oh, this happened, that happened, that needs to be, um, it was not Kapavata Pitta, but even this desire of or unfulfilled wishes, these are all very, very dangerous. That's why too much of wealth acquisition, too much of, no, whatever I require, maybe a little bit for my future. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or his followers, all of them, how they renounced everything. Rupa Goswami, they all renounced everything and they left all the money for. So it's not that you give everything on charity. You keep something for yourself. What is required is what is required. Only then, while leaving the body, we are a free restaurant, just having the total consciousness only on Krishna. So remembering Krishna by Yoga Mishra Bhakti, remembering Krishna by pure Bhakti, material world versus spiritual world. So parastasmat bhavonyo. Then this is dukkhalayam and ashashvatam. So this place is dukkhalayam. We are all prisoners, and easy way is given. We don't really relation. We don't understand, and we still fall into this yoga maya. That is of course created by Krishna only. But then how much we are trying to come out of it is what is like pure bhakti. And supremacy of pure bhakti is to attain Krishna. I will stop sharing this screen now. Like question answer session. Any question if you have, devotees? Are you all doing the quizzes? Is it easy? Is it difficult? Any question? The first 5-6 chapters I found, a lot of questions coming up. How do I do? How do I do? Now we are into, I think, a different world. And what do I do to attain him? And keeping these things like, oh, it's not permanent. And having this in the mind, we cannot hate anybody. Even if somebody hurts, trying to empathize, trying to show gratitude, trying to think that as an antaryami is a adi yajna. Antaryami, Paramatma is sitting in that soul also. Our attitude and our way of thinking will totally change, because whatever we do, thoughts, feelings, actions, everything revolves around and our karma, counting of. So we need to leave the papam and punyam, sins or whatever, punya, whatever you gather, everything has to be left. We have to balance it. That balancing is only possible when we balance our own life. Whether it is pleasure or pain, taking it in the balanced way. So any question today? You're all in the silent mode. I just wanted to give little time for question answer session, because every day it goes on. Okay, quickly we have another few minutes. I will share one story, which is the great sage who followed all these, and we have examples in our okay. So this is Ajamilan. Okay, this Ajamilan story is also from Bhagavatam. It's a very important story. We do it in Tamil, and I couldn't do. It was difficult for me to. Time was not there. I didn't do the translation, but he was a great devotee. Okay, Ambarisha. Now, what happened was once uh, he gets the Sudarshana Chakra. The way he all the 9 process and 9 stages he has gone through. He's a great king. And then he was doing the Vishnu Puja always. So what he explained was he was doing this Ekadashi Vrata. Today is Ekadashi. So that's why I wanted to tell you about Ambarishan's story. Then this on the Ekadashi, he went on doing this Ekadashi very strictly. No water even. That Ekadashi Vratam. Every 11th day, new moon, and 11th day from full moon. That is why Ekadashi, 11th day. So when Narada taught him about this, and he started following. This king was a very um, uh, good. So now Indira told about Ambarisha to Durvasa. So you all know Durvasa was a great sage, but he was like anger was always in the epitome. So then Indra gets really scared when somebody becomes very, very powerful. So Ambarisha was a Vishnu devotee, plus doing this Vrata, and he was very powerful. He was becoming very powerful. He did all the charity. So now what happens? He told Durvasa, Indra told Durvasa, this Ambarisha is very, very strong, very powerful. So Durvasa wanted to test and wanted to stop this. So what he did, he went to Ambarisha, he visited him. He said, I have 40, 50 people with me. I will take, okay, main thing is on Ekadashi, those who keep the Vrata, on Dwadasi, the next day, immediately within 3, yes, I think within 3 hours or so, after the sunrise, one has to do the, fal ahar, whatever ahara. That means that you need to eat. So, but offering to somebody, offering to God is a prasadam. Everyday offering is important. It is essential. But if a sage is coming, offering him the food and then eating is very, very good. So Ambarisha was very happy. Durvasa has come, and now I have to feed him. But this is a very important thing that within 3 hours, 2.5 hours or so, 3 nadigai they say. So within 2.5 hours. Now Durvasa purposely made, he was not coming at all. So when he didn't come, somebody said, no, it's okay if you take the Tulsi Tirtham, it is like you have done the Falahar. So he took the Tulsi Tirtham, but Sage Durvasa was a great, this one he knew that he has already taken. So leaving that, when somebody has taken it already, the Tulsi Tirtham, so he created a Kingara. Kingara is always a demon. So he created one and he said, now kill him. Now this Kingara was, but then, Ambarisha had Chakra, Sudarsana Chakra, which was given by Vishnu to him because of his austerities. So Sudarsana Chakra came and he killed that demon. So the Sudarshana Chakra went behind Durvasa. Now Durvasa ran to Brahma. Brahma said, I cannot do anything. I'm sorry. He ran to Shiva. Shiva said, no, it is not possible. He ran to Vishnu. Sudarshana Chakra is following. Vishnu said, you have to go to Ambarisha back. Cannot do anything. So now the story is, you cannot hurt, you cannot do anything wrong with a Bhagavata. With a Bhagavata means, so this Ambarisha story, Ambarisha also saying like Jadabharata, he followed all those 9 stages. He was in that bhakti. Krishna himself sent Sudarshana Chakra to make the ego that Durvasa had or Indra had to nullify all that. What does that mean? He will be with you if you are so dedicated into the devotional service. So he is not only giving that assurance, but we have people, we have examples, and Srimad Bhagavatam speaks about so much about all of them that we understand that there were people who were protected like this. And later on in Bhakti movement also, when you see Bhakta Vijayam, there is a book. each bhakta, how they were saved by Krishna. We all know Surdas, Tulsidas, we know how they were chanting, how Krishna, Lord Rama were existing in their hymns, in their poems, and every minute they were there. Whether it is Janabai, I think I told you, Meera, you have seen. So, there are people whom we know, Andar, all 12 Alvars. Sometimes I will, when we have time, we'll speak about the Alvars also. All of them, they're all those Shankh Chakra Gada Padmam, all his. So they came here to give as an example, to be a role model for us to understand that if you trust, if you believe, if you have faith, with total determination, do the devotional service. I am with you. I am with you. You don't have to really get scared. I know about the past. I know about the present. I know about the future. So he is there. And Hare Krishna, any question? If you don't have any questions, then I know you're all in the transcendental bliss, thinking about the Satchidananda Rupa, and be in that Krishna consciousness only. Let Krishna be with us, and we keep doing our devotional services and keep moving on this journey. Do the quizzes regularly, and you will be getting the certificate. You enjoy that. Then we can move on to the level 2 classes also. The another devotional service is like the next batch, which is going to be starting in December. Make all your friends to join any language, any course, any classes. So some benefit if I get, I should make sure that all my friends, all my people around us will also get. That's also a big devotional service. Okay, anybody can join this journey. You have to make sure that everybody joins. Thank you very much. I will stop. So 8 into 6 is 64. You all have to, no, what is it? Am I multiplying it wrongly? Prajesh Prabhu, take over. We just chant here and then you can leave. I know you all have a lot of classes, one after another, so I don't want to take much time in this. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Prajesh Prabhu, just start the this one and then we can leave. Jai Shri Krishna.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri
Radha Vasavadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama